What better way to start off Design Drawing Week than with doodling together in our sketchbooks? So, as we draw, I'm going to give you a little lecture, and it will all make sense as you are playing and messing around and having fun. So I'm going to just show you what I've got. I've just got my regular pen, and then I've got a few highlighters. You know, some of you are familiar with these Tombos. I love them because they have the brush side, and then they have the fine point side. You can see that? Woo, where are you? There you go. See, fine point, and then I love the brush. It really has this nice stroke. That's what I did this with right here, with the brush side. So this is a doodle together session. I've picked out a limited range of colors, basically pink, orange, purple, and gray from my vast storehouse. So I can do a color scheme while I'm doodling. One of the reasons, and then I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start doodling. Actually, I'm gonna start with my black pen, and then I'm gonna do like, I'm sure you guys have done something like this before. Just gonna make a big old swoopy shape there to play with. And start filling it in as I talk to you about drawing and doodling. One of the reasons that I really like to start us off, you know, because this is one of your first design classes and we're just getting the hang of things. I have taught art and design for so long that I'm well aware that people have a fear of drawing. One, they either have a fear of it, they avoid it, or they believe that they cannot draw. So I will be in a group of people. I've done tons of workshops for school teachers, for corporate clients, for my students, my uni students, and I always ask, who can't draw? And the majority hands go up. The majority of hands go up. And people very often say, I cannot draw. I am unable to draw. Or you've heard the saying, I can't draw a straight line. Something like that. That's not actually true. Drawing is a practice, like anything else. If someone said, can you play music? You would say, no, I don't play music. You wouldn't say that you are actually not capable of playing music. There might be some instruments that would be harder for you to play than others, but you probably wouldn't say, I am incapable of playing an instrument. It's just that you don't practice. You haven't practiced playing an instrument. And it's the same with drawing. All it is a practice. So I've taught and led workshops in this for so long, and I've been really curious about what age it is that we stop drawing and why. Why do we stop drawing? It's usually sometime between the ages of 8 and 12, and often it is because we have learned judgment and comparison. And someone else in our 4th grade class or 3rd grade class or whatever it was perceived as being better at drawing. They drew something awesome. It was amazing. And we gave up. We were like, oh, I'll never be able to draw that good. I'm just not that good at it. and I'm going to give up on it. Some people are actually able to make it across that chasm, as I call it. Sometimes it's by becoming really interested and excited about drawing manga, or, copying some other kind of style. And we also hear a lot of bad things about copying. But the truth is, the Renaissance masters, the history of art, we actually copied the masters. We learned to paint and draw exactly like they did. So we have to start somewhere, somehow, so copying the versions that we like of things, learning how to make it our own, practicing and over time coming up with style, our own style. But it really is just a practice. So everyone can draw, and in fact, at one point in our lives, we did without even thinking about it. And I'm hoping, even though you're listening to me drone on, as you're making your marks and playing around in your sketchbook, you're starting to feel some sensations of kind of peace, fun, happiness. That, this is kind of fun. And while you're doing this, just notice, is it easier to follow me and what I'm talking about? Is it easier for you to listen while you're making these little, probably meaningless marks on the paper? Or is it harder? Is it harder for you to make fun, silly marks and follow what I'm saying? For some of us, and that would be me, for some of us, it's easier to focus when there's something else going on with our hands and eyes. I'm sure that there's a reason for that. I can't remember what it is offhand. But whenever I'm in a lecture or at a conference or somewhere where I really need to be paying attention, I sketch note. And if it's a time period where there's really no notes to be taken, then I'll doodle. I'll doodle in the margins. If they're handouts, I might doodle on those. And I always leave those experiences with so much better retention of the information that I'm trying to take in or take on. That also works if, it's a lecture or something that you're not particularly interested in. It'll help you focus and take some of the learnings from it. I mean, we all have subjects that are not our favorites. And this is a way of increasing the engagement in them. Because they're classes that we have to take, even if we're in the work world, there are different things that we have to learn all along the way that might not be our favorite, that we can find ways into the material that makes it more interesting, or at least helps us retain it and take it in better. And this is just one of those ways. This is also a great alternative for relieving boredom rather than picking up your device. And trust me, I am just as guilty of this as the next person. That moment where there's stillness, quiet, and a moment of silence, and I'm reaching for the phone. And I'm trying to find better ways of occupying myself rather than scrolling, because that's really consuming, not creating. And I don't want to just be a consumer. I want to be a creator. So drawing, doodling, grabbing a book, messing around in your sketchbook, much more fun and productive way of alleviating boredom than scrolling or sending mindless texts. So as you can see, I'm just filling up random space, just having fun with it. And that's the key, is having fun, loosening up, dropping the fear. No more fear of drawing. No more comparing ourselves to others or judging ourselves. So dropping the judging, comparing, and taking back on the doodling that some of us really love. So I'm going to close out our Doodle With Me session. You can finish your page anytime that you want. And I hope you had a little bit of fun this morning.